In the heart of a dense forest nestled between two towering mountains, there lay a small village, forgotten by time and untouched by modernity. The villagers whispered tales of ancient creatures that roamed the woods under the light of the full moon, creatures that were neither fully wolf nor entirely human. These creatures were known as werewolves, cursed beings who prowled the night in search of prey. Among the villagers was a young woman named Alara, whose beauty was matched only by her courage. She had heard the stories of the werewolf that haunted the forest, but she paid them little heed, for she had never encountered anything more sinister than the shadows that danced in the moonlight. One fateful night, as the full moon cast its eerie glow over the land, Alara found herself wandering into the depths of the forest. She had lost track of time, mesmerized by the beauty of the night sky, when suddenly she heard a rustling in the bushes nearby. Heart-pounding, Alara turned to flee, but before she could take a single step, a figure emerged from the darkness. It was a man, or so it seemed at first glance, but his eyes burned with an otherworldly intensity, and his hands ended in long, razor-sharp claws. Alara stumbled backward, her breath caught in her throat as the man drew closer. She could sense the danger emanating from him, could feel the primal instinct to run or fight warring within her. But then, in the blink of an eye, the man's features began to shift and contort, his body twisting and elongating until he stood before her not as a man, but as a monstrous creature strayed out of her darkest nightmares, a werewolf. Frozen in terror, Alara watched as the werewolf prowled closer, its growls reverberating through the night air like thunder. She knew she should run, knew she should scream for help, but fear held her captive, rooted to the spot as the creature drew nearer still. Just when it seemed that all hope was lost, something miraculous happened. The werewolf's form began to waver and blur, its monstrous features melting away like mist in the morning sun. And in its place stood a man, a different man, one whose eyes shone with kindness rather than malice. With a gentle smile, the man extended a hand to Alara, helping her to her feet. "Forgive me, my dear," he said, his voice tinged with regret. "I am cursed to roam these woods as a beast under the light of the full moon, but by day I am but a man." Alara's mind reeled with disbelief as she struggled to make sense of what had just transpired. How could this creature, this werewolf, be capable of such a transformation? And what did it mean for her own safety and the safety of her village? As the man led her back towards the safety of the village, Alara couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this story than met the eye. And as the moon continued to cast its eerie glow over the land, she knew that her encounter with the werewolf was far from over. As Alara returned to the village, the encounter with the werewolf weighed heavily on her mind. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was something deeply unsettling about the creature's transformation, something that defied explanation. Despite the reassurances of the man who had saved her, doubts lingered in the back of her mind. Days turned into weeks, and life in the village returned to normalcy. But for Alara, the memory of that fateful night refused to fade. She found herself haunted by dreams of wolves and men, their forms merging and shifting in an endless dance of darkness. Then, one evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the first stars began to twinkle in the night sky, a strange sensation washed over Alara. It was as if a shadow had fallen across her soul, casting everything in a veil of darkness. With a sinking feeling in the pit of her stomach, Alara realized that the full moon was rising once again. Fear gripped her heart as she hurried to her home, locking the door behind her and drawing the curtains tight against the night. But try as she might, she could not shake the feeling of impending doom that hung heavy in the air. As the hours passed and the moon climbed higher in the sky, Alara's senses were suddenly assaulted by a chorus of howls echoing through the forest. The sound sent shivers down her spine, for she knew that it could only mean one thing: the werewolf was on the prowl once again. Terrified, Alara huddled in the darkness of her home, praying for morning to come swiftly and release her from the grip of fear. But as the night wore on and the howls drew closer, she knew that her prayers would go unanswered. Then, just as the moon reached its zenith and the forest fell silent, there came a knock at Alara's door, a soft, insistent rapping that sent her heart racing anew. With trembling hands, she crept towards the door, her breath catching in her throat as she turned the handle and pulled it open. And there, standing on her doorstep, was the man who had saved her from the werewolf's clutches. But as Alara looked into his eyes, She saw something there that chilled her to the bone, a darkness, a hunger that was not his own. And in that moment, she realized the terrible truth: the man who stood before her was not the savior she had believed him to be, but something far more sinister. Before she could react, the man lunged forward, his features contorting and shifting until he stood before her not as a man, but as the monstrous werewolf from her nightmares. With a savage growl, he seized Alara in his claws, dragging her into the night as the full moon bathed the world in its silver light. And as the echoes of her screams faded into the darkness, the villagers of the forgotten village knew that their worst fears had come to pass. The werewolf had claimed its next victim, and none were safe from its insatiable hunger. In the aftermath of Alara's disappearance, the village fell into a state of mourning and fear. Whispers of the werewolf's return spread like wildfire, and the once peaceful community became gripped by paranoia and suspicion. Every shadow seemed to hide a lurking monster, and every howl in the night sent shivers down the villagers' spines. Despite their fear, a small group of brave souls banded together, determined to uncover the truth behind the werewolf's reign of terror. Among them was a young hunter named Alden, whose skill with the bow was matched only by his unwavering determination. As the days turned into weeks and the search for Alara yielded no results, Alden and his companions delved deeper into the mysteries of the forest, following every clue and rumor in their quest for answers. But the more they searched, the more elusive the truth became, slipping through their fingers like water. Then, one fateful night, as the full moon cast its eerie glow over the land, Alden and his companions stumbled upon a hidden clearing deep in the heart of the forest, a place of darkness and death, where the trees whispered secrets too terrible to be spoken aloud. There, amidst the tangled undergrowth, they found evidence of a struggle, a torn scrap of fabric, stained with blood, and a trail of footprints leading deeper into the darkness. With grim determination, they followed the trail, their hearts heavy with the knowledge of what they might find. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew thick with the stench of decay, and the sounds of the night seemed to grow more sinister with each passing moment. But still, they pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and a thirst for justice. And then, just as they reached the heart of the darkness, they stumbled upon a sight that would haunt them for the rest of their days: a clearing bathed in the silver light of the full moon, where the werewolf stood amidst a circle of twisted trees, its jaws dripping with blood. With a roar that shook the very foundations of the earth, the werewolf turned to face them, its eyes burning with a primal fury that sent shivers down their spines. And in that moment, Alden knew that they had found the source of the village's suffering, a creature of darkness, fueled by an insatiable hunger for blood. But as Alden raised his bow, ready to unleash a volley of arrows upon the beast, he hesitated, for he saw something in the werewolf's eyes that gave him pause, a glimmer of humanity, buried deep beneath the layers of rage and despair. And in that moment of hesitation, the werewolf seized its chance, disappearing into the darkness with a savage snarl, leaving Alden and his companions to ponder the true nature of the beast that haunted their dreams. As the moon dipped below the horizon and the first light of dawn illuminated the forest, Alden knew that their quest was far from over. For though they had glimpsed the face of evil that lurked within the heart of the forest, the true mystery of the werewolf remained unsolved, its secrets buried beneath layers of darkness and deceit. And so, with a heavy heart and a steely resolve, Alden vowed to continue his search for the truth, knowing that the fate of the village and perhaps even the world hung in the balance. For the werewolf was not just a creature of myth and legend, but a harbinger of doom, whose true power lay hidden in the shadows, waiting to be unleashed upon an unsuspecting world. As Alden and his companions regrouped, their determination to uncover the truth burned brighter than ever. They knew that they were closer than ever to unraveling the mystery of the werewolf, but they also knew that their journey would not be easy. With each passing day, the village grew more tense, the fear of the unknown casting a shadow over the once tranquil community. Rumors spread like wildfire, fueling suspicion and paranoia as the villagers searched for someone to blame for the horrors that had befallen them. But amid the chaos and confusion, Alden remained steadfast in his resolve, determined to bring an end to the werewolf's reign of terror once and for all. He pored over ancient tomes and whispered legends, searching for any clue that might lead them closer to the truth. And then, just when all hope seemed lost, a breakthrough came, a forgotten prophecy hidden deep within the annals of time, foretelling the coming of a great evil that would threaten to consume the world in darkness. According to the prophecy, the werewolf was not merely a creature of flesh and blood, but a manifestation of something far more sinister, a curse that had been unleashed upon the world by forces beyond human comprehension. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Alden and his companions set out once more into the heart of the forest, their minds ablaze with determination and purpose. They knew that they were treading on dangerous ground, but they also knew that they were the village's last hope for salvation. As they ventured deeper into the darkness, the air grew heavy with the scent of magic, and the trees seemed to whisper secrets that sent shivers down their spines. But still, they pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and a thirst for justice. And then, just as they reached the heart of the forest, they stumbled upon a sight that took their breath away, a hidden glade, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight, where the werewolf stood amidst a circle of ancient stones, its form pulsing with dark energy. With a cry of defiance, Alden raised his bow, ready to unleash a volley of arrows upon the beast. But before he could loose his shot, a voice rang out from the shadows, a voice that sent a chill down his spine and froze him in his tracks. "You seek to destroy that which you do not understand," the voice said, its tone laced with bitterness and regret. "But beware, for the true enemy lies not in the darkness, but in the light." As the words echoed through the glade, Alden felt a chill run down his spine, for he knew that the voice spoke the truth. The werewolf was not the enemy they had thought it to be, but a victim of a curse that had twisted its very soul. With a heavy heart, Alden lowered his bow, knowing that their quest was far from over. For though they had uncovered the truth behind the werewolf's curse, they now faced an even greater challenge, the challenge of breaking the curse and freeing the creature from its eternal torment. And so, with a renewed sense of purpose, Alden and his companions vowed to do whatever it took to lift the curse and bring an end to the darkness that had plagued their village for so long. For they knew that the fate of not just their village, but the entire world, rested in their hands. With determination burning bright within them, Alden and his companions embarked on a quest to break the curse that had ensnared the werewolf and plagued their village for generations. Armed with ancient knowledge and newfound allies, they delved into the deepest recesses of the forest, seeking out the source of the curse and the means to undo its dark magic. Their journey was fraught with peril, as they encountered powerful enchantments and malevolent spirits that sought to thwart their efforts at every turn. But with courage and perseverance, they pressed on, driven by the hope of a future free from the shadow of the werewolf's curse. As they delved deeper into the heart of the forest, they uncovered long-forgotten rituals and arcane spells that held the key to breaking the curse. But with each step forward, they also faced new challenges and dangers that tested their resolve to the breaking point. And then, just when all hope seemed lost, they stumbled upon a revelation that shook them to their very core, a truth so shocking, so profound, that it threatened to unravel everything they thought they knew about the nature of the curse and the identity of the werewolf. With their newfound knowledge in hand, Alden and his companions raced against time to confront the source of the curse and put an end to the darkness once and for all. But as they stood on the brink of victory, a shadow fell across their path, a shadow that hinted at a darkness far greater than anything they had ever imagined. And so, with the fate of their village and the world hanging in the balance, Alden and his companions prepared to face their greatest challenge, yet a challenge that would test their courage, their strength, and their faith in the power of light to overcome the darkness that threatened to consume them all. As the final battle drew near, the forest echoed with the clash of steel and the roar of ancient magic, as Alden and his companions stood united against the forces of evil that sought to destroy them. And in that moment, as the fate of their world hung in the balance, they knew that their journey was far from over, that the true test of their courage and resolve had only just begun.